Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. So glad you're here joining us for our math class today. This is our recorded lesson for Wednesday, March 31st. It is the last day of March today, and I'm so glad that you're here joining us today. Today we're going to start subtracting fractions with unlike units. That's where we're saying we have unlike denominators. The bottom numbers are different. Super excited. We've already added fractions with unlike denominators, unlike units. Now we're going to subtract them. We're going to follow a lot of the same methods, just with subtracting instead of adding. So before we have previously, in the past, we have already, going the wrong way here, we have already subtracted fractions with like units, like denominators, like 2/3 minus 1/3. We know that is 1/3. And we have also in the past, we have added fractions with unlike units, with different denominators. So as we move into the future, we can absolutely combine these two things into one over here, and we can subtract fractions with unlike units, different denominators. But before we begin on that today, I want us to start on a sprint. And that's where we take 2 minutes to solve a set of problems, and we won't work through all of them, but as quickly and accurately as we can. So we want to be quick, but more importantly than being quick, we want to be accurate. We want to make sure we're getting the right answer. So I've got 2 minutes on the clock. You probably see some of them behind me, but I'm going to share them. I'm also going to pop down into that corner over there, so you won't see me for the next couple of minutes, and I'll drag myself back up. But we're going to do that. We're going to take 2 minutes, solve as many as you can accurately. You'll see them on the screen. You'll want to write them down. You don't have to show any work if you don't want to. If you want to show work, you can. But we're going to try to solve as many as we can, as quickly as we can. I do know that there are a couple problems you won't see. It'll jump probably from 16 to 23. That's okay. I haven't found a way to format it well for us yet. So just pretend that 17 through 22 don't exist, and that's okay. All right, ready? And then we'll talk through some strategies after our 2 minutes, how we solved it, and then we'll do another one and see if we can make some improvements. So here we go. 2 minutes on the clock. Hit the right button and go. Solve as many of these as you can. Awesome. You're doing great. And you're not racing against anybody else. It is just trying to see how well you can do. I'm going to slide over here so you can see my face a little bit. You're doing great. Keep it up. We are halfway there. Keep working hard. I'm so proud of you. Thirty more seconds. Y'all are doing amazing. Keep it up. All right, pencils down, stop where you are. Awesome job. I'm so proud of how hard you worked. Glad you were working hard there. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to check our answers. Let's take a look here. Have to make sure that we can see down to 16, so I might have to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to slide that over there. Oh, wrong way there. All right, check your answers there. When you have put a check next to each correct answer. Once you checked all of your work, count up the number of checks you have and put that on the top and circle that number. So pause the video here. We'll come back after you checked all your work, unpause it, and we'll talk through some strategies. All right, so you checked your work. You have put the number in a circle at the top. Awesome. Got my number in a circle on the top of my paper. And I want us to think for a little bit about what strategies we noticed when we were doing this. What did you notice? I noticed that each time, since each number we were subtracting was less than 1, all I had to do from the whole number was take that whole number and subtract 1 from it. So then if I had 4 minus 1/2, I did 4, bump that down to 3. So I had 1 minus 1/2. And I knew 1 minus 1/2 left 1/2, so I had 3 and 1/2. I also knew to look at, hey, how do I get from this fraction that I have to a whole? So if I am subtracting 1/4, 1/4, that means the rest of the whole must be 3/4 or 3/4. So then I just have to figure out my whole numbers. A lot of finding out what went into one whole. If you have any thoughts or strategies, think about what you did when you were solving those. And our goal now, we're going to do another set, and our goal is to solve at least one more. I know you can. We're going to work hard. We're going to solve at least one more correctly, and we're going to do some great things. So we're going to do the same thing we just did. I'm going to put 2 minutes back on the clock, and then we are going to be good to go. Ready? You have this. Let's go. We're going to do one more of these. It's all new problems. But you will notice some similarities, some things that are similar to this set and the last set. Let's take a look. Here we go. And go. I'm just going to hang out here off to the side. You got this. Awesome job. You are doing great things. All right, we're halfway there. We got 1 more minute. You are doing amazing. Keep it up. Remember, you just want to get at least one more correct than you did the first time, but you can do a lot more. You got this. All right, pencils down, pencils down. Awesome job. Oh my goodness, it looks like you worked even harder than the first time. I'm gonna put my answers over here, then I'll share my answers. Here we go. Let's take a look. Check your work against mine here. Pause the video, check your work, then circle your number at the top that you got right. Pause it here. When you're ready to come back together, jump on back in. Awesome, y'all. Such hard work. I'm so proud of you. If you got at least one more right, awesome. Way to go. You are amazing. If you got more than one better the second time, awesome. Even awesomer. So great. I love it. All right, well, now we're going to dive into some math here. And I'm going to spin this just a smidge this way. There we go. There we go. Then you can see me a little bit better when I'm over here. So get out your notebook, and we're going to take some notes as we work through this together. I'm also going to drag myself over here a little farther. There we go. Sweet. So, what are we doing today? Well, we know that subtraction is taking away, and we know a fraction is part of a whole. We have spent a lot of time so far this year talking about fractions. But before we dive into some fractions, I want to ask you all about this subtraction problem right here. What is 3 boys minus 1 girl? What? You're telling me I can't do that? Why can't I do that? I agree, I can't do that. Because if I have 3 boys, there's no girls for me to take away. Our units here are different. Just like when we tried adding children and adults, we couldn't do that either because we had different units. I actually really like how this illustrates what we're doing even more. We can't add different units, so we're going to have to somehow come up with the same unit. What could we do? Well, I bet we could do this. We could do 3 children, because boys are children, minus 1 child, because a girl is a child. And now that we have 3 children minus 1 child, we could absolutely do that, and that would be 2 children. So this is something super important that we need to, I want to make sure we write down, because it's important to adding fractions, it's important for subtracting fractions, and it's going to be important over the next few weeks. We must do this. We must have the same unit. We must have the same unit. So let's take a look at our first problem of the day with fractions. We're going to do 1/2 minus 1/3. Now, we can't just subtract 1/3 from 1/2. We can't take away 1/3 from 1/2 because we don't have the same unit. Our bottom number, the denominator, is not the same, which means we have to do something first. What do we have to do first? Well, just like when we were working with adding fractions with different denominators, we are going to use a rectangular fraction model. So I'm going to make 2 boxes here, and I'm going to represent each of these fractions in 1 box. I'm going to first represent my 1/2 on the left, so I have 1/2 there. I've now cut our box, our rectangle, into 2. Each of those is 1/2, and I need to shade in 1 of those. And then over on the right, over here, I have to cut this box into thirds, into 3 parts. Why into 3 parts? Because our denominator is a 3. Now our numerator is a 1, our top number is a 1, so we have to shade in 1 of those. Now, just like when we were looking at adding fractions, we're going to take our 2 cuts over here, our 3 segments, and move them to our rectangle model on the left. And we're going to take this red line and move it over here, the one on the right. Now we have magically created the same unit. And our unit goes on the bottom. It is the denominator. how many boxes do we have here now in whole? We have 6. So our denominator is going to be 6. It's going to be 6 over here as well. And that is good. There's 6 boxes in our rectangle, 6 boxes in our rectangle. Awesome. Now we're going to ask ourselves, how many are shaded in on this box on the left? So I have 1, 2, 3. And over here there are 2 boxes shaded in on the right. Now we are subtracting, so I'm going to put my subtraction sign, our minus sign right there. And the last thing for us to do, we're going to take away 2 boxes from over here. These 2 boxes on the right are going to cancel out 2 boxes on the left. So I'm going to cross those out. And we see we're left with 1 box still colored in. Now we did not add any extra boxes to our blue box. We did not take away any space from our blue box. So there are still 6 total pieces. Awesome. So our new equation is 3/6 minus 2/6 equals 1/6. Now how would we say that with unlike units just up here at the top? We would say 1/2 minus 1/3 equals 1/6. Awesome. So now I'm going to send you on your way to take on a problem. And that problem is going to be 1/3 minus 1/4. So take this on the same way we just took on this problem up here, and then we'll come back together in just a moment. So pause it here, solve this problem, and I'll see you in just a couple of minutes. Awesome. All right, so I'm glad you took this on your own. Check your work against mine. I know I have to make 2 rectangular fraction models, one for 1/3 and one for 1/4. I have to shade in 1/3 on my left one here because our fraction is 1/3. So I've cut it into 3 parts, and I am shading in 1 part. And then on the right side, we are cutting it into 4 parts because our fraction is 1/4. And we need to shade in one of them. But you probably notice we don't have like units. In order to create like units, we can do exactly what we did in this first problem. First, we drew our parts in one direction, and then we're going to partition or separate our parts in the other direction. So I'm going to move these 3 lines over here, separate this into 4 parts horizontally, and I'm going to move the 2 red lines from our left rectangle and to the right rectangle to separate it into 3 parts. This is just like when we were adding. The only thing we have to remember now is that we are subtracting instead of adding. There are 4 parts shaded in on our left model out of 12 total ones, and 3 parts shaded in on the right out of 12 total ones. Now we can subtract that. 4/12 minus 3/12, and I gotta shimmy that up just a bit there. There we go. I'm going to take those 3 and cross out 3 of these. It does not matter what 3 you cross out. Whatever 3 you cross out, you are left with 1 box, and there are 12 total pieces. And we're going to read this with unlike units. That's just saying, hey, we're going to read it how we started with. 1/3 minus 1/4 equals 1/12. Awesome. It's time for our next problem. One half minus 1/5. I want you to take this on. As you take it on, I'm going to work through it here. If I finish before you, which I probably will, just pause that video and I'll reveal my answer in just a moment. Okay, I'm going to share my first step. I have cut my first rectangle into 1/2, shaded in 1/2, and my second rectangle into fifths and shaded in 1/5. Now I need to partition my fractions here in our model. I need to move my 5 sections from our right rectangle to our left rectangle. And I know that has created 10 total parts. And out of those 10 total parts, 5 of them are shaded in. Now on the left side, move our green line from the left side to the right side. And again, when we partition it or separate that rectangle model, we end up with our equivalent fraction. There are now 2 shaded in out of 10 total. We have our subtraction sign all ready to go. So 5/10 minus 2/10. I know 5 minus 2 is 3. Our denominator doesn't change because the number of pieces in a whole doesn't change. And to represent this visually, I'm just going to cross out 2 of these boxes. Then I'm left with 3 boxes. Awesome. So far we have taken on this problem, and now this problem. What have you noticed about these problems that we've taken on so far? Think about that for just a few moments. What have you noticed about the problems we've taken on so far? Okay, so I've noticed that the numerator, the top number on each of these fractions we've used so far, is 1. I've also noticed the denominator on the bottom number is a smaller number on the left and a bigger number on the right in each of those. And that's because the bigger number the denominator is, the smaller the part is. So we have a slightly bigger fraction minus a slightly smaller fraction. And that means that we can subtract them. Both of our first 2 problems also had a 1 in the numerator for the difference, too. That was super interesting. But now I'm going to give you all one last problem for us to take on. This is where I'll leave you as part of your lesson today. 2/3 minus 1/4. Give that one a shot. And share your answer with somebody, a friend, a neighbor, an adult in your life. Tell them what you did and how you solved it. They would love to hear it. And then I'm going to give you 2 problems for homework tonight. These are your 2, well, can't quite see it there. Okay, I'll move that over there and this over there. There we go. So this problem you're going to work right now. This problem you can work later today, or you can work it right now. We've got 2 5/6 minus 1/4, and then 3/4 minus 2/7. Awesome. Once you've solved those problems, well, this problem, you're good to go. Solve those 2 for homework so at some point before we have our next either live class or your next time you watch a video. And that is it for today. Y'all are amazing. Have a great day. I love y'all, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.